welcome to my YouTube channel, the place where we talk about this world in a spiritual manner and about the insights I get from Source on my life experiences. My name is Maier and my purpose in this beautiful world is expanding consciousness. So the topic I want to talk about with you today is the 3 energetical points from which we can operate in this world. And they are the body with the mind, the feeling, and then the knowing with the God. So these are the 3 energetical points of action. And before going into them and taking each one of them and talking about them, I want to tell you how I got here and what made me think of it and find this out. So I always wondered and I was always fascinated on how we all as human beings are so different. And whenever we talk, for example, if I say something, someone might understand something completely different from what I said, and the third person might understand, again, a complete different version of what I said. And you know, like this thing always crossed my mind, but I never actually thought of it like, let's find an answer for that until I had one experience with my boyfriend. So me and my boyfriend, we are together for 7 months now, and we have such a beautiful relationship. And it's just like, it's that thing, like whenever we are talking and whenever I'm looking into his eyes, I can see that this man sees me and he understands me, and he can also see that with me. We hold space for each other, and it's just like he sees the true me and he always understands me. So this is our relationship, a beautiful relationship. But at one point, something was happening in our lives. Like in his workspace, he was so busy with other things that whenever we were talking, suddenly I felt like, why doesn't my man get me anymore? I was telling him stuff, I was describing him what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, and I could see that in his eyes that he doesn't see me anymore. And I was like, what's happening? You know, like all of my conflicts were coming to surface. Is this a breakup? Isn't he interested in me anymore? What is going to happen between us? I was just so scared, and like all my conflicts and past traumas were just coming to the surface. So experiencing this, from having my man like always understand me, to him looking into my eyes and see that he can't understand me anymore, this like really made me want to understand, why is this happening? What's happening here? Because it's impossible for my man to suddenly not get me anymore when I'm speaking now the same as I always do. So this experience led me to one of the most beautiful insights I ever had, and that is that we all human beings experience the world and we act in the world based on 3 energetical points. And depending on in which point we are, we act and we understand the information that is given to us differently. And these 3 points are the body with the mind, the feeling, this is the second one, and the knowing with God. And now let's talk about each one of them and I will explain to you everything. So the first energetical point is the body. This one is the most common one. We mostly stand in the body. This is the energetical point in which we operate the most. Why? Because this is a 3D reality and we are human beings. We're having this human experience. Souls having this human experience. Spirits having this human experience. So we mostly operate from the body. If you are awakened and if you're not awakened, we all operate from the body, but depending on how aware are you, you can express yourself from the body in a nicer way or in a harsher way. Why do I say this? Being in the body and acting from the body, like this energetical point, is the harshest point to be in. If you're an unhealed person, in the body, you know, we have all of our conflicts, all of our trauma, everything is stuck and trapped there. And when we operate from this point, we actually cannot fully be ourselves because the body comes in with all the trauma, and when someone might tell us something that it triggered us, we might react from the body and from the trauma that we have trapped inside it. So this is the harshest energetical point to be in, because if we don't heal ourselves and we are not in the process of healing, and people that are not on the spiritual journey yet or never, they always have like this reaction, they react from the body. And here comes the insight that it's really beautiful and important for us to work on our bodies and work and heal and take out all our trauma. So whenever we are in this energetical point, the body, we actually can operate in a more beautiful and calmer way. When we fully operate from the body, there is a feeling of I can't really and truly control my reactions and body whenever something happens to me. There's also like this saying, you know, people say like something happened to me. When we are in the body, we have this disconnection where we don't really feel like things are happening for us, even though they might seem bad, but they are happening to me. So there is this separation from source when we are really trapped into the body, because we can't truly be ourselves when we have all these traumas inside us that it's reacting, that it's making us react. The second point of action, the second energetical point from which we can operate into this world, is the feeling. This is a lighter energetical point and a better energetical point, let's say, in my opinion, to be in. Here, if someone is in this point, you can actually feel it. You just, like, that person has this way of talking like, I feel like I should do this. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm drawn to this. I don't want to choose this. I want to choose this. I just feel this is the better option. So the way of expressing here is, it feels lighter already. When you're into the feeling, you might easily download information from source. You know, like you have this sudden insight that you should do something, and you do it, and it ends up to be an amazing opportunity in your job, in your career, anywhere. So like something communicates with you when you're in the feeling, like you feel things, like someone else is telling you. Who? God, but we're gonna talk about this later. So when you're in this second energetical point, everything just flows different. This is the word, flow. Is just flowy. And you can actually, now from these 2 points, you can actually quite realize whenever you're in the body and everything is more harsh and you need practicality, the mind is always involved, like I need to do this and this and this, rationalizing everything. And when you are in the feeling and everything just flows, today I'm feeling to do this, it's a lighter way. So you can actually now, from these 2 points, realize when you're in which one of them. Now the third energetical point from which we can operate is the knowing the God. This is the highest way of expressing, this is the highest point we want to reach in this life, if we'll ever reach that point, to actually be able to stay there. Buddha got there, Jesus got there. So this is the point where you just know information. You don't know where you know it from, but you just feel so connected with the divine, with the source, that you just know things. Like I said, the really high spiritual teachers got to this point, but also us human beings, we have sometimes some glimpses of that God's knowing from that third point, energetical point of action. We sometimes have a glimpse of this knowing from God. Just think about a day when, I don't know, something was troubling you, like let's take the work environment as an example. Like you work with your colleagues to do this project and everyone is so stressed about, and you're just like, I know everything is gonna be all right. You just know, even though everything seems like falling apart, you know everything is just all right. And everyone asks you, why do you say that? Can't you see that we are losing everything? This bad thing is gonna happen. Can't you see that? And you're like, but I know, I don't know from where I know it, I just know everything is gonna be all right. And in the end, you actually get to the point where, yeah, everything is all right. Well, what happened there is that you actually had a glimpse from that God consciousness, that knowing, this third energetical point. Because again, this point, it comes with the knowing. Listen to yourself when you're talking. If you know something, you don't know from where you know it, but you just know it. This comes with a calm feeling inside you. You know something. Everything can fall apart around you, but you just know everything is gonna be all right. This is not the knowing, and what happened is that you had a glimpse of the knowing of the God. This is God communicating. So this is the highest energetical point from which we can operate. We can't always like touch it, because this is again a 3D reality, and it has the ability to take us back into the body and operate from the body. But this is the highest place to be in, and we can, in this human experience, to grow our vibration and reach that point as much as we can possible. I want to say about the knowing that one way to get there is also with the help of plant medicines. So ayahuasca ceremonies, psychedelic mushroom ceremonies. I'm gonna talk about ayahuasca soon with you, because I did ayahuasca ceremonies in Peru, and I wanna share with you my story, because it was an eye-opening experience, and it just got me into the knowing. Me, myself, I can't stay in the knowing too much in this human reality, like on my day-to-day basis, but in a plant medicine ceremony, in ayahuasca ceremony, what happens is that the channel between all of this, the body, the feeling, and the knowing with God, this channel clears out, and you have the ability to actually go there with God and find things out, like Him telling you stuff, and you're just in that knowing when you just know stuff. But we are going to talk about ayahuasca soon. But these, like the plant medicines, are a beautiful tool and an easier tool to touch that God consciousness, to get to that knowing. Now let's answer the question, where is the best energetical point to be in to operate in this physical reality? And my personal opinion is that we should be as most as we can in the feeling. Between these three, the feeling is the most human but also connected energetical point to be in, to also get information from source. And it's this flow state, you know, when you have these days and when everything is flow, everything just works out. You think of a person and suddenly that person texts you, or you meet them on the street, everything is in flow. So the feeling, being in the feeling, is the best place, in my opinion, to be in. Also, it can happen that the outside experiences drag us back into the body. It's okay, but we should have this connection and develop this connection between the body and the feeling, because if we are fully into the body, we are actually not fully ourselves, because we act from the body and react from it and all the trauma that is trapped inside it. But if we can stay connected to the feeling energetical point, we actually are more able to become aware of our conflicts inside our body and not react from it anymore. Like, look, now I feel a fire inside me, I want to react because this person told me something that triggered me and I want to react. But if I'm in the feeling, I have the capability to actually not let myself react, because I want to stay here into this feeling. So being here is actually the best place to be in, because we experience this world in a physical form, the body, but we are also connected with the source and the insights, and we get these messages on what we should do next, and it's easier, it feels lighter, because this is the feeling, lighter, flow. And now, okay, we found out in which energetical point is the best place to be in, but now the question is, how do we change the points from which I'm interacting? Because I want to be in the feeling, but I'm in the body now. What should I do? Well, the two words that are important here are awareness and vibration. The difference between these three energetical points, body, feeling, knowing, is the vibration. The higher the vibration, the more connected to the source and the more into the feeling or closer to the knowing we are. The lower the vibration, it means we are in the body, and all our trauma can actually make us react in a certain way. We cannot have like fully control on ourselves because we have a lower vibration. It's not bad to be in the body. I don't want to say that it's bad to be in the body, but we have our conflicts there. So unless we work on them, it might actually bring us less joy to be in the body, because we might ruin things, relationships, and we might just react from the body when we don't want to truly do that, because we know better. So I don't want to say that to be in the body, it's a bad place, but it's a harsher place to be in, to react from it. So we can change our energetical point from which we can operate by changing vibration. And I'm sure that you've heard this already so many times, and I just want to talk about this too, is that in the morning is the best time to actually be aware of your vibration and start a good momentum. What happens there is that when we wake up, we are in theta state. In theta state, our minds are not really awake. You know that moment. You don't really start thinking about this world, what you have to do, the job, the everything. Everything is just like you're in between the dreams and this reality. So in that place, you actually have less resistance than ever, because you had no time yet to really think of your human things in this world that you have to do, so that they could trap you already in the body. So in the morning is the best way possible to start a good momentum to raise your vibration. And what you can do here is listening to podcasts from spiritual teachers. I would recommend, for example, the one I'm listening to right now and I really resonate with him is Danny Morell. He has a lot of spiritual teachers that come into his podcast, or Abraham Hicks. It's amazing. Just you should watch it, and watch these things first thing in the morning and start a good momentum of the day. Like I said, you didn't have time to connect with the bad things and trap yourself into the mind and what you need to do and this rigid energy. So it's easier for you to actually work on your vibration to make yourself be in the feeling. And even if you're in the body, now you can actually tell in which one you stay. But even if you feel like you're in the body and you don't really feel things and you want to raise your vibration, what you still need to do, in my opinion, like the best thing that works for me is actually listening to this type of podcasts or vlogs from spiritual teachers, because whenever I'm listening to them, I can actually connect to their energy, and this helps me raise my vibration and actually, you know, release all these mind blockages and be able to go back into the feeling. So this is a really practical thing to do. It's actually a good activity to do for the mind, because the mind is rigid and it needs practicality. And this is actually a practical step for you whenever you're in the body, to actually accept that, yes, I can do this and my vibration will start to raise. Another way to raise your vibration from the body to the feeling is going also into the nature. Nature is high vibration, like touch a tree, run into the nature, listening to the birds. Now that spring has come, everything is more colorful, brighter. This automatically, even if you realize it or not, it actually lifts up the weight from our shoulders, you know, the weight of our mind, because body, mind, we are trapped into our thoughts. Being into nature also helps us release some of these blockages that stand between us and raising our vibration high enough to reach the information from source and be in the flow state. And now the final topic of today's video is, why do we fight with our loved ones? So let's go back to my story with my boyfriend, because this is the story that got me to these insights. Like I said, me and my man, we always had this conversation, like eye to eye. We could see each other, we could hold space for each other, we were understanding each other, but suddenly my man could not get me anymore. So what happened there is we were in different energetical points. So, you know, on a day-to-day basis, when everything was okay, he was not like really stressed with the work and had to put so much attention there. We were actually both more into the feeling. He's also a spiritual guy like me. I learn a lot from him. I love him so much. So we always, like, together, we had this high vibrational state, and we would communicate, and we were mostly in the feeling, maybe going to the knowing. But now, because he had this stressful situation in his workplace, he dropped into the body. And me, I was keeping myself like constantly into the feeling, because I feel like mostly where I operate from is into the feeling. I got used to this, I like it. I had a lot of practice to get here, and I'm here and I love it, so I'm here. So I was in the feeling whenever I was talking with him, even now, but because he fell into the body in a deeper density, he could not understand me anymore. I was using the same words as always, and, you know, like here a lot of conflicts came to surface for me, because why doesn't he understand me anymore? I changed nothing about the way I communicate. What happened here? What happened was that he was in the body while I was still in the feeling, and he could not really understand me. Now I got this realization, and we had these insights, and we had a talk about what happened there, and it makes a lot of sense for us. But it was a hard place to be in for me, because you just imagine, maybe you had this experience with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, where suddenly, even though you were communicating in the same language, it felt like you were speaking different languages and you had no idea why. Well, this is why you were in different energetical points. So if you're having a fight with someone, just ask yourself first, or if you had an argument, just ask yourself first, in which energetical points am I, and is that person also? Like, am I into the feeling? Is that person into the body? Because when you're in the body, you can't really understand completely the feeling. Or ask yourself even a more real question: am I in the body, and is that person also into the body? Because when two people that act from the body meet, like I said, here is the trauma, the conflict. We actually cannot meet ourselves eye to eye, because our trauma are in front of us, and I'm just reacting from my body and my trauma, you're reacting from your body, your trauma. They're just like the body reacting and not letting yourself be. Going back to the awareness that in the morning is the best place to start a momentum, I woke up one morning and I just had this insight, like this download of information from God, from source, and I just knew what happened. And I was like, I need to call my man. We were separate in that time. We were in different cities. I just needed like to call him and tell him what is happening. And we had like this really beautiful conversation. I was explaining to him like, look, I'm in the feeling, look what is happening, why you don't understand me. And he was just like listening and was like, wait, Laura, I don't understand, I don't feel what you're saying, but because you are telling me that I'm not able to understand you from the body because you're in the feeling, that makes sense to me. And now I know that I don't understand, and I know that what you say is making sense, but I'm not there yet. You can actually see people from like through their eyes, if they're in the body or if they're in the feeling. And I could see like his eyes opening up again. I continued to talk, and he was raising his vibration, and because he got aware of what I was saying and he was actually opening up, he started spiraling up, and suddenly he reached the feeling energetical point, and we could actually see each other again, like truly see us. And this was such a beautiful experience to actually like, okay, I had this insight, I finally told my man about it, and we actually solved it, and we handle it like to go to the same vibration and meet and into the feeling and actually see each other again. It was really beautiful, because before having this insight, what is happening here, like when you spend time with people that are in a different energetical point than you, what can happen there is they're gonna drag you in their energetical point, or you're gonna drag them in your energetical point. And this is the normal thing that it happens, because we're energies and we just like get attracted by each other like a magnet. But if that person is in a lower vibrational state, like being in the body is a bit lower vibration than being into the feeling, before having this realization, my man actually dragged me a few times into the body, and I started reacting from my own conflicts from the body, like we are not yet talking the same anymore, is this a breakup? I was reacting like conflicts were coming out from me. So he had that impact on me, like dragging also me into the body, from the feeling into the body. But if we are aware, and if you realize that, wait, I'm in a higher vibrational state right now, what we need to do there is actually stand our ground and be into the feeling and help the other person raise their vibration. And what me and my man had the possibility to do is actually raise his vibration in this story and meet into the feeling. And again, it was beautiful. So yeah, people around us influence us. What we watch, what we listen to influences us, and we need to be aware, like, is this energy helping me grow? Is this energy helping me raise my vibration, or is it lowering my vibration? Should I be aware of my own state and protect it, or should I get inspired? Nonetheless, every experience, it's a blessing, and it's a lesson that we can use to help us grow further. So I had these beautiful insights, and from now on, me and my boyfriend can just, like, whenever we talk, we are like, okay, in what energetical point are you in? I was in the feeling until now 5 minutes ago, but I just got a call from work, something bad happened, and it dragged me a bit into the body, We can have this type of conversations right now, so we are aware of the state in which each one of us is in, so we know who needs the support and the space to be held, so that person is raising their vibration again. So this was the topic of today's video. I hope that at least one of the things I said resonated with you. Maybe you had some connections with your own experiences, what I said with your own experiences. I hope something from here helped you, and if that's the case, don't forget to give a like, share, a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I love you so much. Thank you. See you soon.